Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another session on logic development. Actually, we had taken up some examples and we made an attempt to solve those examples. Objective here was to make you think and devise a solution on your own. It is always very easy when a solution has been discussed and then we write a program based on that. That's always very easy. What is more important and challenging is you designing the solution on your own. And we have seen yesterday what kind of silly mistakes that you go ahead committing even when you have been given enough time to solve that particular problem. It's very important that we solve problems. There is no other alternative, no other shortcut to be a developer than to solve problems on our own. So unless you do not make a serious attempt to solve the problems, and I told you that developers have, or youngsters like you have, a wrong kind of notion in your mind that I need to write a program. And only when I write some code using some language, then you feel like you are a developer. The keyboard. And I always keep on telling, don't be in a hurry to touch the keyboard. Design the solution on the piece of paper, be it a flowchart or pseudocode. Once you have designed it, then think about developing a program based on it, even after only after you have gone ahead testing that particular code. So yesterday we wrote some examples, we designed some examples, but today to do the same thing, we'll use another tool. Now this tool is quite advanced to an extent that when you go ahead drawing a flowchart, it can develop the code for you automatically. So writing or coding is not a challenge. Coming up with a solution is a challenge, or designing the solution is a challenge. Code gets created automatically almost nowadays. So let us take an example where we'll see how the code gets created automatically. So if you think or you are in a hurry to write code using some language like C++ or Java or Python, you are mistaken, because all these years I have seen a lot of engineers who complete their graduation, but they are not having confidence to write the program on their own. The reason is like they know languages, but they cannot put the languages to use. And I do not want you to fall into that particular trap, that you know the language, but you cannot put the language to use. That kind of trap I do not want you to fall into. And that's the only reason why I'm insisting on these examples. It was expected that you solve the problems and I correct you. What happens is when you solve a problem, I understand how to help you, because then everybody commits a mistake. The mistakes that you commit help me understand you better, and I can guide you, immediately understand how are you thinking and provide you a right kind of support so that you build that confidence. So it's important that each one of you solve the problem. Has anybody solved any of the other problems that we had discussed or were to be discussed yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you share the file with me?
Okay, sir.
Which is the problem that you have solved, Rahul?
Sir, the tank wala,
Okay,
and then that cost price for the shoe,
okay. Cost price for shoe or a sweater?
shoe pair का problem percentage जो दिया हुआ है, profit percentage.
I don't recollect the problem. Let me open up the problem statements and see. Okay, share the solution now. I'll check it in the same. Share the solution. Anybody else has solved any problem? Okay, Rohit, what's that reaction? I don't understand.
सर मेटल शीट रिक्वायर्ड वाला फॉर्मूला प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया.
Okay. So go and share. If you have solved the problem, share with me.
Yes sir.
Also. Okay, Rohit. So Rahul has shared the solution. So I'm opening that particular example. We all will work on the same one. And today we'll use another tool to solve the same example. And there will be some interesting things that will happen. Rahul, what about the next question? There are two.
Shared, sir.
Everybody have a look over here. Rahul, from where did you learn this arrow use करना? ये किसने बताया आपको यहाँ?
सर आपका जो पिछला लॉजिक के शेयर किए थे ना आपने, तो उसमें
Correct.
मैंने फर्स्ट 1-2 वीडियो देखे थे, तो उसमें आपने
Correct,
ये सिंबल यूज किया था.
Correct. And that is the one that we had to use actually, but I couldn't figure out over here. So I used equal to. Very good that you have used it. Okay, let's see the problem statement. What does it say? It says a shoe store uses 40% of markup on the cost. Find the cost of the pair of the shoes given its sales price. Now, I want others who haven't solved this particular example to explain what this problem statement means. Come on, who will explain with an example? So, what does this actually mean? Who has understood the problem? A shoe store uses 40% markup on the cost. Find the total cost price of the pair of shoes given its sales price. Yes.
So,
Please go ahead.
सर जो मतलब कॉस्ट प्राइस है उसका सेल्स प्राइस is 40% more or than the cost price, which means sale price equals to 140% of the cost price, and we have been given sales price. From that we have to calculate what's the cost price.
किसी शू का सेल्स प्राइस 150 रुपए रहेगा तो कॉस्ट प्राइस क्या रहेगा?
That's right.
If there is a shoe whose cost sales price is 150 rupees, so what will the cost be?
हमें मार्क प्राइस भी पता होना चाहिए.
Actually, you have to work on a mic. We hardly can hear you.
हमें कॉस्ट प्राइस पता होने के लिए क्या मार्क प्राइस भी पता होने चाहिए.
So
कैलकुलेट करना होगा.
So here, that's what. So my question is like, agar the sales price is 150 rupees, then what is the cost price?
Sales price divided by 1 plus profit percentage.
क्या रहेगा?
Sales price divided by 1 plus, यहाँ पे 40% है तो 1 plus 0.4, तो sales price divided by 1.4.
फॉर्मूला नहीं बता, मुझे वैल्यू बता. 150 रुपीस का अगर सेल्स प्राइस है तो कॉस्ट प्राइस
Yes,
क्या
sir.
है? Tell me the value.
150 divided by 1.4.
अरे मैं कह रहा आंसर बताओ.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Sir, 107.
7. Okay, and that's appropriately right because it is nothing but 60% of 140. Okay,
हाँ,
what
sir.
is the price? उसका 60% है तो 100 का 60 हो गया. ऊपर के 50 का ऊपर का 60% लेने जाओगे तो 30 रुपीस, तो it could be somewhere around 100 के आसपास का कोई तो प्राइस रहेगा उसका, whatever it is the price. Okay, so let's see what he has done. He says numeric price in rupees. So he has created 3 variables and he has also correctly identified the type. Indent it from the margin. Okay. So numeric sales price in rupees, numeric cost price in rupees. So sales price and cost price. Yeah, sales price, cost price. These units of measurements, if you write inside, if you give it inside in your messages, that's good enough. There is no need for you to always give this units of measurement in the variable names. I'll tell you why. Because variables are available only to the programmer. Messages are seen by the user. So in the message, don't forget to write the units. if that's the only unit, you don't have to bother inside the variable name. So please enter the sales price of the shoe in rupees. Here the units was very, very important. Okay, here the units was very important. Not so important for the variable names. I'll just say sales price. Okay, that's good enough. So we have accepted the sales price. We have accepted the sales price. Here you go. We have accepted the sales price. After accepting the sales price, it says cost price. Okay, is equal to 100 into sales price. Okay, sales price divided by 100 plus profit percentage. So it's like divided by 104 ho gaya yaani. Correct? So 100 plus profit percentage is 40 and 100 divided by 140 ho gaya. It is 100 divided by 140. No, it is like sales price divided by 100 plus profit percentage ho gaya. Look at this, there is a problem now. Division will get evaluated before addition. So there is always, remember in mathematics you use the BODMAS rule. So here what will happen, sales price divided by 100 हो जाएगा. So sales price अगर 140 है तो 140 divided by 100 हो जाएगा. So suppose 140 divided by 100 will be how much? 1.4. So 1.4 plus profit percentage. 1.4 plus profit percentage would be like plus 0.40. So it will be 1.8 or something like that into 100. Now that's not the way to go about. Is it working right? Is it giving you the right answer? Yes?
No, sir.
No. So you have to be very careful while you use these operations. Okay. So what you wanted to do, Rahul, was 100 divided by 100 plus profit percentage, and that is to divide the sales price. Is that what you wanted to do? क्या करना चाहते थे आप यहाँ? Rahul, explain the logic. What are you trying to do?
Sir, I want that cost price is equal to 100 multiplied by sales price divided by 100 plus profit percentage.
100 plus profit percentage ना?
Oh, yes.
140 होना चाहिए ना वो?
Okay, okay.
या नहीं?
140. 100
140 होना
plus
चाहिए,
profit
but
14%, 40%.
तो आपने 0.4 लिया है, तो if I have taken 0.4, it will be 100.4 हो जाएगा फिर. That's what you want? 100.4?
Sir, 140 चाहिए.
140 चाहिए. So this profit percentage की जगह, instead of saying 0.40, ये divided by 100 हो गया. In that case, you'll have to take it 40 only directly then.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, if I do that, then this particular place over here, I'll have to just make sure that I use the right brackets. So if I use these brackets, will that solve the problem? Sales price divided by 100 plus profit percentage. Okay. So sales price 140 है. 140 divided by 100 plus this. Is that working right? Sales price अगर 140 है, तो 140 divided by 100 plus 40, that also becomes 140. So 140 divided by 140 comes out to be 1. So 1 into 100 is the cost price 100 rupees.
Sir,
Yes,
sales
sir.
price 150 बोला था.
नहीं नहीं, अगर 100
जी सर, हाँ
140 है
सर.
तो सही है.
नहीं
नहीं कैसे नहीं, अगर 140 है
ऐसा
तो
गलत.
100 कैसे गलत आएगा? कैसे गलत जाएगा? लेट मी नो.
सर गलत सही है सर.
सही है. तो अगर 150 है तो इट विल बी 150 डिवाइडेड बाय 140
Yes, sir.
into 100. Okay, so what you had calculated, was it the same? Let's see. So we go here. It's like 150 suppose. आपका sales price 150 है. 150 इन्होंने कहा divided by 140 divided by 140. So your answer comes out to be 1 point something something into 100 into 100. So 107 point something. Is that not right? That's what you had also given.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this formula is correct. So sales price divided by 100 plus profit percentage. Profit percentage is 40. So don't make it as 0.40. In that case, it would go wrong. So 100 plus profit percentage into sales price. So 100 plus this profit percentage into sales price, that could give you the answer 100 into so and so. Now, could we have simplified this particular solution further? Was there any
Yes, sir.
chance? क्या कर सकते थे?
सर मतलब 100 इंटू मतलब इसकी जगह सेल्स प्राइस डिवाइड बाय 1 प्लस 0.4 कर सकते थे. इसमें मतलब डिनोमिनेटर में 100 प्लस प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज लिया है ना, तो 140 फिर बाद में 100 से वापस मल्टीप्लाई कर रहे हो, तो मतलब स्टार्टिंग
हाँ,
मतलब सेल्स प्राइस डिवाइडेड बाय 1 प्लस मतलब 0.4
1 plus
1 प्लस
0.4.
प्रॉफिट. ये सर 1 प्लस प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज.
तो ये into 100 नहीं करना पड़ेगा.
नहीं सर, हाँ सर.
That you could
और
have
सर
said.
डिनोमिनेटर में भी 100 प्लस प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज 1 प्लस प्रॉफिट परसेंटेज.
Correct. Okay. Correct. So those we could just reduce the complexity. Yeah, 100 वगैरह divide करने के लिए you could just say 1 plus profit percentage. But in that case, profit percentage you'll have to take as
2.4.
0.4.
Yes, sir.
0.4. अगर आप 0.4 लेते हो, in that case, this could be the formula that we could use. It's just simplification of the formula. Formula is the same. It is just the simplification of the formula. So we could have said cost price is equal to sales price. This is arrow. So that's what I was troubled with yesterday. How do I represent this arrow over here? So we couldn't find one. So I have a less than equal to लग रहा है.
But sir, why that arrow dash?
I'll tell you. Provided I can use it. Look at this. Equal to is a confusing symbol. Equal to से आप assign करना चाहते हो values या compare करना चाहते हो. Because while comparing also you're saying equal to, and while assigning also you're saying equal to. The equal to is an operator which is confusing. Every language differentiate between the two operators. Equal to और यानी for comparison और assignment. जैसे आप C++ अगर लेते हो तो comparison के लिए double equal to, assignment के लिए single equal to. If I use language which are Microsoft based languages, they will say colon equal to for assignment and then equal to for comparison. ऐसे करेंगे. So we need to differentiate between them, and unfortunately I couldn't see that way to use that arrow inside it. Probably this is too big an arrow. That's too big an arrow. So that's the reason I went ahead using equal to, but he took all the efforts to use arrow. Anyway, so I'm finding it difficult to put arrows over here. So meanwhile, time I cannot use arrows. I'll just say equal to, but the appropriate symbol would be arrow. That to represent what is stored where. So here what is happening is we are doing this calculation and the results are stored in cost price. Equal to की arrow चाहिए pointing towards cost price, saying the result of this calculation gets stored in the cost price. And then he says the cost price of the pair of shoe is cost price and then rupees. That's also okay. So whatever is just to be displayed as it is, that comes in double quotes, and the variable whose value has to be displayed comes outside the double quotes. So this is the message, constant message. Then this is the value, and then the rupees, and then we say stop. So that's how we have entered solving this particular example. Okay, so that was a good attempt. So we made some changes, but what he has solved is also correct. First, file, I'll save it as, I'll save into our folder of examples. And this was sequence cost price. The sequence for and the cost price. Save this solution as well. I'll share these solutions again with you. Anybody has any question over here?
No, sir.
Okay. Now let's use another tool to solve the problem. Oh, we had one more question, and that question was about the water tank. And two of them have solved this example. Others, I hope you have at least gone through the problem statement that was given. Huh? And problem statement says, Shyam wants to construct a water tank. Construct a water tank in the shape of a right circular cylinder. Calculate how much steel metal will be required in its construction. Given area of circle with radius r is pi r square. Yeah, square tha, raised to tha. So I'll just say over here like this, pi r square. And circumference of the circle with radius r is 2 pi r. Okay. Now tell me, is this information enough for you to calculate the construct a water tank with the shape of right circular cylinder and how construct a water tank in a shape of right circular cylinder. The right circular cylinder. Okay, it's just a regular cylinder that you would like to construct. And calculate how much steel metal will be required for this construction. So there is some information that's probably not there. So we know how to calculate the circumference, we know how to calculate the area. Okay, but that's area of the circle and area of radius. Now, can somebody quickly tell me, Kaustubh, can you quickly tell me the logic behind it? Since you have also solved. So, Kaustubh, are you there? Okay, Bhagyashree, since you have solved it, can you quickly explain us the logic behind this?
So I can't solve it.
Couldn't solve it. Okay. Kaustubh has shared the solution and disappeared. Kaustubh, can you explain the logic behind the solution? Kaustubh, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
You have also solved this particular problem. Can you explain what was the idea as to how did you go about solving this particular problem?
So, sir, to defining this problem, we need to find out the metal sheet required to construct a water tanker, which is a right cylinder. And so
Turn on
it
your
will-
camera. People will also see you. They will have more faith. कोई दूसरा आंसर नहीं कर रहा है. Yes.
So to construct that water tanker, we will need a curved surface area of that cylinder and a base of that cylinder to calculate the metal sheet required.
Correct.
So basic calculation will be metal sheet required equals
एक
to
minute, hold on. Can you show it pictorially?
Sir, I can share you that. Hello.
Do it in Zoom. That's what I'm saying. I'll give you permission. Okay.
Sir.
Here is the whiteboard. Can you use the whiteboard?
Sir, where is it?
Share screen, you'll have whiteboard. Click on share screen, you'll have whiteboard.
Okay.
Click on share screen, you'll have whiteboard.
Okay.
Do it.
So we have a cylinder.
Correct.
We need to construct a water tanker.
Tank. Clear that if you want, or you can draw again. Correct. That's good enough. Correct.
So this is a cylinder. So we will need the base of the cylinder. So this is the base, and we will need the curved surface area.
Correct. So the only problem is how will you find the curved surface area?
Yes. So we have the formula for it, which is.
Don't tell me the formula. Explain me the formula. Formula is already there. If you can explain, make it simple. It's easy.
Yes. So we'll need, sir, height of the cylinder, then radius of this cylinder or that circular area, and 2 pi RH, sir. So formula will be 2 pi RH.
Don't tell me the formula. Explain, because there are some people over here who are not from engineering background. Explain.
Okay. So we have to calculate the area which is
okay, what you said is correct. I'll explain.
Okay.
So now, is the whiteboard visible? Everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What he said was perfect, but probably he couldn't put across his words correctly. So if you are drawing a cylinder, if you have a cylinder, how is the cylinder? So there is what he said, there is an opening at one end, and this is a cylinder, this is the base, and this is what we have. So we need to have this area, and we need to have this area as well, the body, circular. Now, if this area has to be calculated, it's just a circle, and the area of the circle has to be calculated. But now think, if I have a cylinder and it's like a pipe, if I have a cylinder, it's like a pipe, and assume that I cut this pipe on this border, एक line से मैं cut करूँगा. So in that case, it will become a regular sheet, because if this regular sheet, if I roll, it will become the boundary of that particular cylinder. If I roll this sheet, what will happen? If I roll this sheet to create a circle, it is the nothing but the boundary of that cylinder.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I could roll this sheet. Now the question is like, what is this length of the sheet and what is this height of the sheet? Now, if I roll this sheet over this base circle, that means what is the circumference of the circle, that will be the length of this rectangle. And what is the height? So what we'll have to do is we'll have to first calculate the area, which is the base, and this sheet that I'll require to create a cylinder. Because this sheet I'll close. So once I close this particular sheet, what I'll get is a cylinder. If I had this plain sheet, if I had this sheet, if I had some paper, think about, take a paper and just close it. What would happen? In that case, what you will get is nothing but, so look at this. If this is a sheet that I have, there's a sheet. And if I roll this particular sheet, what you will get is a cylinder. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I have got is now, what we have got is a cylinder. Where am I? So we take this sheet, we roll this sheet, what we have got is a cylinder. But this cylinder is open, so we'll have to close this particular cylinder. So I need to know this particular circumference. So if I know this circumference, that will give me the width of that particular sheet. How much is the width of that sheet? Second thing that will require is the height of the sheet. So what two things I'll require: height of that cylinder, and this is nothing but the circumference of the cylinder. Because we are going to roll this particular sheet in this particular fashion to convert this sheet into a cylinder, So two things are required: the height and the width of that particular sheet. The width of the sheet is nothing but the circumference of the circle. So somebody was telling me, sir, this formula is not right. Because if you directly check for the formula, then it is not probably right. But if you can break down the formula, what you require? The bottom surface and the body. That body is nothing but a regular rectangular sheet, which is just rolled up. Okay, so those are the two things that we require. So if you know the direct formula, that's okay. But we should always be in a position to explain the formula as well. Because unless we don't explain the formula, it's just like you have done substitution from somewhere. And that's the reason only two things have been given: area of the circle, that is for the bottom, and circumference, that is to find the length of that particular sheet that we require. So you'll have to accept only one thing from the user, one additional thing from the user, that is the height. So he has taken some variables. So let's see whether his logic is correct or not. Okay. So it's very important that when you solve the problem, you should know what are you doing. It shouldn't be like we just pick up the formula from somewhere and then we use that particular formula to represent. So tank of the radius of the tank. So radius of the tank, I could just say radius. Okay, a tank radius. I just said tank radius. Okay, tank height. Tank height. Okay, and again I told you there is no need, unless that's the only unit of measurement. Then in that case you need not take the units. You could very well write in your program. It says numeric constant pi, that's 3.14. That's good enough. And then the total surface area is what he has calculated. Okay, let us see what he's doing. Please enter the radius of the tank in feet. Okay, and radius of the tank, tank radius has been accepted. Tank radius has been accepted. Then please enter height of the tank in feet. The height of the tank has been accepted. Tank height has been accepted. So till here, everything is okay. Total surface area is 2 pi radius into height of the tank plus radius of the tank in feet. Now there is a problem. What you have done is
square करना भूल गए.
हाँ, square करना भूल गए. But यहाँ देखो दिक्कत क्या होती है. When you write such a formula, it's difficult for everybody to understand. ये formula कर क्या रहा है? So either your formula has to be correct or whatever it is. So it's very difficult for anybody to understand. I would not do this direct substitution. Okay. So now that we have the tank radius, we have the height. Okay, we could for the bottom surface and the side surface area. And so you have total surface area. And most of them couldn't solve it because they could not understand how to substitute it. That itself tells about the complexity of the program. If I say numeric, bottom area,
Base area.
base area, that would be right word. Base area. And what would the other variable be?
Curved area.
Side area.
Yes.
Okay. So we have taken two additional variables in addition to what he had already defined. So what he has defined is what we require. In addition to that, we have taken two more variables, base area and side area. Now we'll just break down this particular thing. First, I'll say base area is assigned to. Is there a better way to put this? This way. Base area is assigned as it's just pi r square. Okay. So pi, he already has a variable pi into. Okay, I'll just say into. We had that radius into radius, tank radius into tank. So there is no chance of any mistake happening since we are very clear about what we are doing. So just try and make the solution as simple as possible for anybody who is reading and maintaining your code. You may remember the formula and somebody may just not be in a position to relate that formula based on the values and the variable names that we are used. So just break it down. So that's the base radius, base area you have calculated. Now the side area is what we have to calculate. If I have to calculate the side area, so we already have the height and we have the circumference. So for that, we'll have to first calculate circumference. That's the reason circumference was given.
Sir, but we don't need to calculate circumference, right?
How will you calculate the?
We can directly put in formula 2 pi RH. We have
That's
already.
So that's what he had also done. And he couldn't really explain where that particular formula is coming from. 2 pi RH. Okay. So that's precisely what we are going to do. So if I'm calculating circumference 2 pi r.
Yes, sir, but it will be, we will be using more variables.
Yeah, we'll definitely be using more variables. But then we will not have to explain anybody the formula where what that 2 pi RH formula is. Circumference could be very simple. I am calculating circumference by saying 2 into, and I'm doing exactly what you said. Just I'm breaking into two variables, 2 pi into radius. So what I have calculated is the circumference. If you are very comfortable with that, you could very well use the direct formula, but I'm assuming that it is confusing. Define a variable called as circum, which stands for me, it's circumference. I'm just saying circum is equal to 2 pi r. So I got the circumference. Now the side area, I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible, is circumference into height. Have I accepted height? Yes. Right. Now, what you are saying and what I have written is exactly the same. You said 2 pi RH, and this is 2 pi r, and this is h. So that's exactly what we have done. 2 pi RH is exactly what we have done. Nothing different at all. So 2 pi RH हमने किया हुआ है, and we got this particular thing. Side area. What remains now? Total surface
Yes.
area.
Yes, plus base area.
Is equal to the side underscore area plus the base underscore area. So once you have done this, your problem is done. Now tell me, who would rather find it difficult to understand? If you have made it as simple as possible, the programmer could improvise on it and reduce this, understand, okay, this formula is so and so, I could break this, join this to create one formula. That's okay. But for the programmer, you have made it very clear as to what is that you're doing. Need not be the case while he writes the program based on this algorithm, he will use all the 4 variables, need not be the case. The metal sheet used to construct the water tank will be total surface area, okay, square feet. Okay, that's perfect. Total square area, square feet. Okay, so I would rather do it in this fashion. I have strong reason to do that because here my logic is now becoming very clear. There is very little scope for anybody to misinterpret or not understand what is actually happening. No confusion at all. So that was my justification. If you have a better justification, you could do something different as well. But that was my justification as to why did I do so. Any questions? And you should have, if there is any query, you shouldn't hesitate to ask. Yes, anybody? Rakesh, you said you couldn't solve it. Have you understood this now?
Yes, sir.
Others, is there anybody who did not understand this?
Also,
So it's very, very important that you express yourself, make the solution as simple as possible for anybody who's looking at your solution. Let the developer who's gonna work on your solution improvise and reduce the size of the code. We'll try and keep it as simple as possible. If you feel the formula is too very simple for you, you could combine these to create one formula also. Okay, that could have also been done. But then maintenance, somehow it will go wrong. It's difficult. Like Rahul did write the code and he got lost. अरे मुझसे क्या रहेगा? R square रहेगा या क्या रहेगा? So we found the base area, then we found the circumference. Side area is nothing but the circumference of the circle into the height. So that gives me the side area. Okay, it's like calculating the area of a rectangle. Side area is nothing but the area of the rectangle. Okay. Area of the square rectangle, what it is. Okay.
So, sir, it shouldn't be very long.
It shouldn't be very long. It shouldn't be very
Yeah.
long.
So you can break it into two parts.
This box,
Yes, sir. Formula.
yeah, formula should not be, it's not about being long, it should not be complex. If you understand, your team understand, that's okay, but try and keep it as simple as possible. Don't write some very large complex equations. Because
Sir,
to
वो
trace,
variable name से भी लंबा हो जाता है.
it's not about the variable names. यहाँ ना बड़ा equation करोगे तो कहीं plus minus, like last time he forgot to use brackets. We saw, so it became sales price divided by first. That means division will get carried first and then addition will happen. So the priority of the operators are different. So if you write a big equation, there is always a chance that you may miss out on that priorities of the operators and so on, and that will create problems. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So here we are with the solution. Solution also ready. Was there any other problem statement that was given?
Sir, एक train का था.
Anybody has solved that? Has anybody solved the problem for train? It was about some train leaving early and some train joining late or something like that. Has anybody solved that particular problem? The typical problem that we come across. Yes, no, remark करो, tick मार दो, reaction दो. किया है नहीं किया है. That's what I want. Okay, so that still remains as an assignment to all of you, because you need to solve problems. I keep on telling, there is no shortcut. Okay. Many problems as possible. Okay, only when you solve problem, you'll get that confidence. I'll be sharing some more assignments for you to be posted onto the e-learning portal as well. Okay. Now I was talking about testing the code. Now you design this algorithm. We also need to check whether our algorithm is correct or not. Unless until we haven't checked for the correctness of the algorithm, that algorithm that we have written, we cannot rely on it, neither can we write a program based on it. Now in this example that we have, we could take a cylinder whose area that we already know, and then we could actually have gone ahead checking whether the answer that we have calculated is correct or not. So that was one way for us to go about. But then the world has changed. There are a lot of tools which are available today in the market, and those tools will make the things easier for you. Now, when I use it will make the things easier for you, believe me, the world has changed a lot. Okay. And testing can be done by the tools itself. So you'll have various tools, and those tools will do the magic for you. So let me show you one such tool that can do the magic for you. Statement. We'll solve that particular problem statement and see the magic as to what happens when we write those kind of statements. So let's begin with a very simple example first. We'll take a problem statement and we will go ahead come with a solution, and that solution will also test for a given for a given set of values, So let me give you a problem statement first. Please note the problem statement. I'll write the solution for it. Accept. Just give me a second. Accept quantity purchased and product rate and calculate the gross and net bill amount. Gross bill amount is quantity purchased into product rate. Net bill amount is gross bill amount minus total discount, and total discount is 5% of gross bill amount. Have you understood the problem statement, everybody?
Sir, net bill is
Gross bill amount minus total discount. Discount is 5% of gross bill amount.
Yes, sir.
Now let's go ahead solving this particular problem. Okay. So this time around, I'm using a tool. So here we had your main or the start, and we have end, that is stop. So we have to have start and stop. You could say main, end, whatever it is, that doesn't really matter. Now we'll have to, first thing that we'll have to do between start and stop is to define the variables. So I'll have to define variables. So I declare some variables. Here in this particular tool, you have a chance to specify what type of variable it is. So I'd say it's an integer, it's a string, it's a real number, it's a Boolean value. So I say integer. What's the name of this variable? The first one that I'm going to use is the product rate. I say PRODUCT product underscore product. I'm going to use camel casing because here it doesn't allow you to use underscore. I use camel casing. I say product rate. It's integer. And product rate could be 12 rupees 50 paise also. So it cannot be integer. It's a real number. I say it's a real number. So it's a real product rate. First variable I have defined. Oh, I need one more variable here. So that variable is to accept the quantity. Now quantity could be for me an integer. So I say product quantity. The quantity purchased. So I'm using lower camel case. So I have one more variable, quantity purchased. First is the real product rate, second is the quantity purchased. But I'm supposed to calculate the gross bill amount. I'm supposed to calculate the net bill amount. Correct? I'm supposed to calculate the discount. So I'm going to use few more variables. And this time I'm going to use a variable which is of type integer. Oh, that's a real number, and that's my gross bill amount. So I say gross bill amount. Look at the way I'm defining the variable name. Lower camel case, G small, B capital, A capital. Gross bill amount. I need one more variable. So I have product rate, quantity purchase, gross bill amount. I also have net bill amount. I say it's a real number. So I say it's net bill amount. So I have created one more variable called as net bill amount. So I have gross bill amount, I have net bill amount. Oh, I also need discount. So I declare one more variable saying discount, and that could also be a real number. So I just say discount. So I have declared all the variables that I need. So these are all the variables that we need. Earlier in the previous example, we could declare all the variables in one box. Here it is in separate box. That doesn't matter for us. But these are the variables that we need. All of them have some type. One is integer, the rest of them are all real variables. Now that we have created the variables, we need to prompt the user. Mark my word, we need to prompt the user, telling the user that what is that we expecting him to enter. Okay, so we are going to give an output statement. Now the output statement that I'm going to give over here, okay, I need to put in double quotes. So I'll write the statement saying, please enter the rate of the product purchased. Double quotes complete. So I am asking, please enter the rate of the product purchased. Okay, please enter the output है, angular brackets में है, double quotes डाला है. Please enter the rate of the product purchased. Output है. Because I have both the same symbol. Okay. So next time I don't want output, rather I want input. So let me cut this and let me add one more symbol, and that's input. What would I want to accept over here? The variable name. It was product quantity purchased. No. Rate पूछा हमने. It is product rate. That's a variable that I'm going to use to store the result. So output was this message. Input is this message. Output में देखो double quotes है. Input में there is no double quotes. So we have now accepted the product rate. Now we also need to accept the quantity purchased. We are going to ask the user, how many items have you purchased? Okay, what's the total enter the quantity purchased. Please enter the quantity purchased. So we are given a message, please enter the quantity purchased. The user will input the value. Input किसमें store करोगे? We have variable like quantity purchased. So we have variable called as quantity purchased. Okay, I misspelled it probably. Variable का नाम क्या है? Quantity purchased. Camel किसी उसके हमने. We have variable called as quantity purchased. So we accepted the quantity as well. Okay, quantity purchased. Now tell me what more do you have to accept from the user?
Discount
to-
percent.
Discount percent is already given. 5% was the discount, correct? So that was already given. So we had to define this particular variable, which is constant actually. So I'll over here say discount. I have this variable called as discount rate, or yeah, discount percentage, whatever name I could give. I'm now giving it an uppercase. Okay. Will it allow me to say constant? Let's see. It is not allowing us. So let me just say discount rate in uppercase. So a discount rate hai. But this discount rate also had a value, correct? That we would like to give. So if I say this discount rate is equal to 0.05, I'm trying to initialize the value. It says no. Here we cannot specify. So you'll have to write it in a separate statement. Okay. So we have this particular variable as discount rate. So some tools are not giving us an opportunity to create a constant variable. That's okay. So I could just define a variable and assign it a value in the next line, because it's not allowing me to declare and define a variable here. It's a real number. It says identifier must start with a letter followed by a series of it. There cannot be a user word defined in the identifier. Following specified discount rate, cause following has specified discount rate, and so and so. So the only issue with it is my initializer that I have given. If I'm defining discount rate in this fashion, it doesn't have an issue. But if I'm trying to assign it a value, this tool is having a problem. Okay, anyway, I'll just say discount rate and I'll assign it value on the next line. Discount rate. Read, close, open. Assign. I'll say discount rate, assign value 5. So the discount rate has been assigned value as 0.05. That's my rate of discount. So it's using equal to. So we have this discount rate variable already defined. Now we have got the inputs. We have the product rate, we have the quantity purchased. Now, if I want to calculate the gross bill amount, so what is the formula that we can use to calculate gross bill amount now? Yes,
Quantity purchase into
Quantity.
product rate.
I already say first. Gross bill ANT, short word, is equal to, you will say, quantity purchased, okay, into what will I have to multiply it with?
Product rate.
A rate. Okay, let's see. It says quantity purchased into product rate. I use this star to specify multiplication into product rate. And then if I have to calculate the net bill amount, we will say,
Gross bill minus total discount.
but discount calculate नहीं किया हमने, तो कैसे calculate कर सकते हैं? So first we'll have to calculate discount. So discount would be into discount rate. Discount rate. So gross bill amount into discount rate is the discount. Now to get the net bill amount, we'll have to subtract. If I have to say net bill amount is equal to, it will be my gross bill amount minus my discount. So I've done these calculations. It's time for me to display the result now. It's time for me to display the result. Output would be gross bill amount is rupees. तो यहाँ हम लोग यूनिट्स लिखना भूल गए. Gross bill amount. It says expression contains typo, often forgotten to include operator or having unmatched parentheses. Okay. Following this, here say double quotes में ये है. Say output, and I use my variable. एक में से आ गया, the gross bill amount is rupees, आगे मैंने कहा gross bill amount. I'll have to give an output statement to here once again, and that's for the net bill amount. I'm saying the net bill amount is rupees. I'll just get rid of this new line. Here also I will not use new line. I want it in the same line. Here there is a new line. After that, it should go to the next line. Let me figure out how it has to be used in this. Is rupees, and then I will say output net bill amount. Figure out, it's a different tool that we are using, but messages are the same. Now look at this solution that has been designed. So what all things are we doing? We start with the program start or main. We have real product rate, quantity purchased, gross bill amount, net bill amount, discount rate, which is 0.05. Then we ask the user to enter the rate of the product purchased. Please enter the rate of the product purchased. Spelling galat hai. Units have to be maintained. And don't want it to go on to the new line. And then we accept the product rate. Then we say, please enter the quantity units of enter the quantity purchased. We do not want to go on the new line. We accept the quantity purchased. Then we calculate the gross bill amount. That's nothing but the quantity purchased into product rate. Then we calculate the discount. That's gross bill amount minus into discount rate. Okay, and discount rate we have taken as 0.05. That's 5%. Net bill amount is gross bill amount minus discount. And then we display this output of gross bill amount is gross bill amount, net bill amount is net bill amount, and so on. So that code we have now written. Now, once you have written this particular code, it's time for us to test whether this code is correct or not. Now, tools like this give you an opportunity to run the code and see. So you could literally run the code. It says before you can store the variable, you must have been declared it. So somewhere I have misspelled the variable called as gross bill amount. I'm saying gross bill amount. So look at this. Variable name should be consistent. So it was AMT. So we say gross bill amount. So that correction has now been done. Let's save this particular file. So I'm going to save this particular file as on the desktop only also for a moment. This is sequence and example for net bill. So that was an example. So I saved. Now it's time for me to run this code. So I run this particular code. It says, watch it. Please enter the rate of the purchased in rupees. Say the rate of the product that I have purchased in rupees is suppose 50 rupees. I enter 50. And it says, please enter the quantity purchased. Oh, I have purchased 10 such items. Enter. So it says the gross bill amount is rupees 500 and the net bill amount is 475. Is that right or not? If I purchase 50 items at the rate of 10 rupees, obviously 500 is the gross bill amount and net bill amount is 475. So we could execute our code to see the result. So हमने अपना code execute करके we have seen the result. And if this was too small for you, I could increase the font size. Now this could be better. Enter the, I'll run the code once again. It says, please enter the rate of the product purchased in rupees. So I say, okay, rate of my product is suppose 100 rupees के मैं product खरीद रहा हूँ, rate every product. Enter the quantity purchase. ऐसे मैंने 7 items purchase किए. Enter. It says gross amount is 700, net bill amount is 665 because we are giving 5% discount on 700. The 75 is the 35. The 35 rupees discount आ गया इसमें. And that 665 is the result that we have got. Okay, so we have tested this particular code. And we realized for the given value, it is coming out correctly. Say I purchased one item at the rate of 100 rupees. So 100 rupees ka, I purchased only one item. So in that case, it says gross bill amount is 100 rupees. That's correct. But net bill amount is 95. So for a given value, we're testing the code. Where is the program? We haven't yet written the program. What we have is only a flow chart that we have with us, and we are executing this flow chart. Not just that. There is more that we can do. While you are solving this particular example, if the calculation, like in the last example, we calculated the circumference, the area, and there are a lot of calculations to be done. So in that case, we can see those results as the calculations happen. Okay, we can add something called as variable watch. Watch this very carefully. A very powerful tool is what we have with us. We have something called as variable watch. Here we go. Now see the behavior, what happens. So I have something called as variable watch. As the name says, variable watch, we can watch all the variables which are there in our program. As the value changes while you are running the program, watch it. The current product rate was 100, quantity purchase was 1, gross bill amount was 100, net bill was 95, discount was 5 rupees, discount rate was 0.05. Let's solve the problem once again and see what happens. Initially, these variables are uninitialized. There is nothing that has been stored inside this variable. In variables, mein kuch nahi hai initially. Yeah, watch it very carefully. Enter the rate of the product in rupees. My product costs 125 rupees 50 paise. Okay, enter. Note here, product rate is now 125 rupees 50 paise. I enter the quantity purchase. I purchased 51 such items. I purchased 51 such items. The moment you purchase 51 such items, it says gross bill amount itna hai, net bill amount itna hai, discount itna hai, and discount rate is so and so. So we got the entire result. What are answers that we would like to have? So we could test it. Not just that, we could control the speed with which it gets executed. That could have also been done. Let me just see where the speed feature is. Tool, program, run speed. I'll say medium, or I'll say slow. Okay, and speed नहीं करेंगे, slow करते हैं. Let's run the code once again. Watch it. It goes. It's doing one variable. All the variables are discount rate. यहाँ तक आ गए, output तक आ गए, and then it asks the user to enter the product. Slowly आप देख पा रहे हैं कहाँ से कहाँ जा रहा है program. As you go ahead, these variables were created. Only discount rate has been initialized. देखो यहाँ नीचे 0.05. Other variables have not got initialized. Please enter the rate of the product purchase in rupees. It's cost 151 rupees. 0.75 पैसे का ये product है. Enter. देखो यहाँ 151.75. Then it says enter the quantity purchased. I purchased 120 such items. Enter. तो यहाँ 120 आ गया. फिर gross bill amount calculate किया. Then net bill amount calculate कर दिया. फिर discount आ गया और ये discount rate आ गया. तो discounted amount से net bill amount आ गया. And it says, well, this was your gross bill amount, 5% discount देने पर this is your net bill amount and so on.
Sir,
Yes, please.
sir, to make a constant, you just have to write it in capital, right?
Here we are just giving a hint to the person who's going to write this, convert this into a computer program. We are giving him saying this is constant by giving the name in capital case. But ideally, wherever possible, use the keyword const या constant जहाँ possible. इस tool में नहीं है, इसलिए I'm just accepting that. So we don't really have to be hard to. But this capital K, जैसे Python में there is nothing as constant. We just have to write in uppercase. ऐसे है languages. So but by we are giving some hint कि I want this to be constant. Okay. So we have created the variables, not just created variables, we have executed the program to see the results. हमने इस program को execute करके देखा है, whatever the result is. We could trace it. Any questions? Have you all understood this? Solution as well as the execution of the program? Yes or no? But
Sir,
now,
the last boxes should be input, right? You have given them as output.
it should be output, no? Last. Do you want to accept the gross bill amount from the user? We have calculated it, correct? So once you have calculated it, we just want to print it, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Here we are accepting it from the user. कहाँ? ऊपर हम लोग user से accept कर रहे थे. We gave a message, we accepted. Give a message, we accepted. We displayed, we accepted. Correct? But later we just have to display the results. Huh? Those were displayed on the same line. Here we go. Again we start running the code. So look here, variables are being created one after another. It's going slowly. You could see over here, you know, सामने रख सकते हैं. So you could see where the control is flowing. That also can be done. That also can be done. Watch it. तीनों एक साथ देख सकते हैं. Very beautiful. You will not come across any tool which is better than this. I'll stop this. Okay, I'll stop this and I'll rerun the code. Watch it, huh? Let's rerun the code. It'll show you where the control, how the control flows. It's at product rate. So look at variables. एक एक करते हुए variable create हो रहा है on the right hand side. Okay. And then the first message. Enter the product rate of the enter the rate of the product purchase in rupees. I say my product rate is 100 rupees. I say enter. The product rate में 100 आ गया. Quantity purchased. I have purchased 25 such items. Enter. Then it's first calculating gross bill amount, then calculating the net bill amount, got the answer. Then output. The gross bill amount is rupees 250. It came on the same line. Net bill amount is rupees 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is. And then the program has stopped. So we could see the flow of the program. How is the program moving, control moving as we go ahead solving this particular exam. Understood, everybody? Yes or no? Hey, feedback though. Aditya, Harsh, समझ आ रहा है ये?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now see the more powerful aspect of it. Yes, please. Anybody has a question? If you are a person who is a Tamil guy, so you would like to have it in Tamil, you could say in Tamil also. That's perfectly okay. Input, output, जो भी है declare. So you start, stop. So language doesn't matter over here. You could have typed your message also in Tamil if you really want to. It's just a pseudocode. We are using English because most of us understand English. That does not mean it's the English is the only language that we have to use. We are half British, so I'm using English. One thing. Second, more powerful thing is, if I go to program, we just had this feature called as run. In addition to that, we have something more over here. Search, it's after some time I'm using this. Here, there is something called a source code viewer. So when I say source code viewer, it will ask you, remember we have done shell scripting, yes or no? Unix shell scripting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
देखो तो यहाँ अरे वही आ गया क्या echo -n read echo -n read gross beyond dollar calculation अरे ये तो shell script आ गया उसका.
Yes, sir.
Wasn't it the same thing that we're doing? Oh no. Suppose tomorrow you are doing working with Python, just select Python from here. Is there anything else Python over here? Can you see anywhere Python? Python. So this is a Python code that has been created. So generating code is not a challenge. Come with an idea challenge. अगर किसी को Python आता है, have a look at this. Is this not a Python code that you write? This is precisely what we do in Python as well. Okay, chalo, not Python. Let's say C++ suppose. So some of you have done C++. So hash includes सारे header files आ गए, and there is doing all C in C out करते हुए सब कुछ कर रहा है. Please enter the rate of quantity to purchase C in, then this, and it has generated C++ code as well. Okay, and all the functions also probably that will be required to work with that. So writing program, converting this algorithm to flowchart into code is actually very simple. And look at the languages that are there. All the languages probably that you must have heard of. Java mein chahiye, public static void main, double, whatever it is, whatever variables are required, and it has generated the code for this. Pura Java code. So developing an algorithm is more important, not the code. Coding is the simplest thing, rather these tools. And you all are actually exploring ChatGPT and other things also. So for any complex logics also that you write, you can make use of such tools and develop the code in whatever languages that you know. We are going to learn JavaScript. In our course, we'll be learning JavaScript. Yeah, JavaScript mein code. The entire code in JavaScript. So here we're saying where. In Python, we did not even say where. We just went ahead using it wherever we needed it. Okay. There may be languages that you must have not seen. Maybe Scala, Lua, MATLAB, Smalltalk, Open, Swift. Okay. Swift for some time was very popular with the Mac people. There is Swift. Code. Import Foundation, Swift ka code. And today what is very popular is Python. Python ka code.
Sir,
Yes, please.
so in real world, what will they ask us to do? Coding or this way?
Listen, if you are a developer, your responsibility is to code. That means at the end of the day, you should have the application which is running. But what will the application consist of? Your application will consist of a lot of programs. Your programs will consist of a lot of functions. So somebody will have to write that code for those various functions as well, correct? So logic to aapko kahin to sochna hoga. And once you think about logic, don't just start writing a program unless it is very simple. Design that algorithm. And once the algorithm has been designed, maybe you can make use of such tools or you could write it on your own. But test that algorithm even before you spend time writing the program based on it. And we have now seen converting algorithm into a program is no big challenge. You got the template ready for you. You could make some slight changes here and there, use the same, copy paste the same code and use it. But what was challenge was to design an algorithm. That's the challenge. You come with your own solution as to how to tackle that particular problem. That was more important than translating. So don't mind, but those are only coders, na? People who only fascinated about writing codes. Translation boss company gives the algorithm logic and then you write the code. I call them as the mason, the Gavandias, the Binti. They don't apply their brain. The architect gives the entire plan. They only place the bricks as per the architect. So they are like Gavandi, the mason. So don't be like those mason who will only construct the building. Be like an architect who will design the building. And keep in mind, the architect is always paid more than the fellow who puts in that hard effort to construct the building. He has a false sense. The mason has a false sense. I have constructed this building. I have only followed the instruction that the architect has done. The credit goes to the architecture, the engineer, the structural engineers who actually design it, not to the person who converts that particular design into actual building. They don't get that much of credit. Nobody remembers them. When you talk about who built the Lieutenant's Delhi, the New Delhi, so you only remember the architect name. Will you remember the name of the contractor or the workers who have built that particular structure? No. So be an architect, be a person who designs the solution. If you can design, you can also build. But if you can build, that means that doesn't mean you can design the solution. So designing is something which is more important than writing code. So don't be too much bothered about, sir, mujhse wo code likha nahi ja raha hai. Do you have the idea? Code will come automatically. Don't worry about it. That doesn't mean you will only depend on this particular tools to generate the code, but that's not a challenge I'm saying. Because the algorithm is perfectly designed. Machine can also build a code based on it. Any other developer who's working in a team can also develop the code based on it. He can make use of such tool, copy the code and make necessary changes to make it more meaningful. So he could do that. At the end of the day, the program should work exactly as specified in the algorithm. That's what it is. So we saw so many language support we have. So these are such fantastic tools which are available through which you can test the correctness of the algorithm that you have written. I would strongly recommend you to use this tool. Reverse one is also okay. These Flowgorithms also I had shared the link with you for where you can download. Make extensive use of such tools so that you are very sure about the correctness of the algorithm that you have designed. So when you design an algorithm, you check it out, whether it is as per your requirement or not, before you actually start writing program based on it. Any questions?
No, sir.
Now we have designed a lot of algorithms, but the way we have designed after designing them, way we have represented them is only by using flowchart. But flowchart is not the only technique in which you can represent your algorithm. Your algorithm can be represented by using pseudocodes or by using flowchart. So how about writing a pseudocode for our algorithm that we have? So if I have a problem statement, we could very well write a pseudocode for that particular problem statement. Okay, so let's go about writing a pseudocode rather than drawing this flowcharts every now and then. Although flowcharts are perfect, but we could pseudocode, simple English like instructions we could write. The next would be writing pseudocodes for a problem statement. But what I'll do is I'll jump ahead with another program construct now. Now that we have taken enough of the examples of sequence, we'll go with another program construct. And for that simple problem statement, I'll go ahead writing pseudocode. So today you'll be drawing the flowchart as well as the pseudocodes. So what is the next programming construct that we are going to look at? The next programming construct that we are going to look at is problem solving with decisions. Here in the previous examples, even the last example that we took, have a look at that solution. Let me just share the screen with you all. Yes. Have a look at this solution and tell me in all the instructions that has been written in this solution, which is a statement that did not get executed. In which kaun sa wo statement hai that did not get executed in this entire thing? Is there any statement that didn't get executed? Was there any statement that didn't get executed?
Start
Come on,
and
quick.
end.
Pardon?
Start and
Arey, wo to compulsory start and end. We have every program has to stop, and we saw at the end when all the inputs were given, outputs were displayed, the program did terminate. So start and terminate was in every statement that was written here has got executed. Every statement without, because this is a sequence construct where this arrow lines indicates okay, iske baad kya hoga, iske baad kya hoga, iske baad kya hoga, iske baad kya hoga, and so we went at executing every statement that is there. That is not always the case. Based on some conditions, we'll either execute some statements or we may skip some statements, and that's the decision statement that we're going to talk about today. The logic structure will almost always be used in some combination with each other in the program. The decision structure is one of the most powerful because it is the only way that your computer can choose between two or more set of actions. That means you may have a different flow of action. I'll do this or I'll do that. And what I'm going to do will depend upon the condition. So you'll be specifying, you'll be using a decision structure to specify the condition, and that condition will decide what flow or what course of action will you follow to solve that particular problem. Okay, so let's understand this construct of decision. Okay, the decision logic structure uses if then else instruction. The simplest among them is like if. It tells the computer that if a condition is true, then executes one set of instruction, else execute another set of instructions. If then else. We had used the same thing in our shell scripting as well. The else part is optional, that there is not always a set of instruction if the conditions are false. So it is not necessary that every time you check for a condition, there is always a else part. Else is optional. So here we have a single alternative unary selection, means we will be checking for this particular condition. Watch it, and we'll take examples based on this. We'll check for this particular condition. If this condition is true, we'll follow this course of action, execute these statements, and then continue with the rest. But if this condition is false, we directly continue further. So this set of statements will get executed only if this condition is true. That means execution of this statement depends upon the correctness of this particular condition. If the condition is false, then these statements will be skipped. And if the condition is true, then this statement will get executed. Have you understood the problem? Means where the so it says if some condition is true, then do process end it. Otherwise, don't do anything. That means execution of these statements that we have written over here depends upon the result of this particular condition. If this condition is true, then do this particular process and end it. That means if this condition is false, skip the statements that we have written over here and directly go to the next statement after end if. So that's what we are making. That's called as single alternative if. We call it a single alternative because there is no other alternative that exists. That's the only alternative that is there. Now, to help you understand this particular construct, let us take one example to solve, which is based on this particular construct. Okay, so let's do that. So let's take a problem statement first and then solve. So here's the problem statement that I'm sharing with all of you. So read the problem statement carefully. Have you all received the problem statement? Yes or no? अरे बोलो ना प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट मिला या नहीं मिला है?
Vanilla, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead solving this, but this time around I'm going to use one more tool over here. The one that I'm using is Microsoft का whiteboard में use कर रहा हूँ. It's free, you can also use it, and I'll call it as pseudocodes. I give it name as selection construct pseudocodes. I'll call it as selection, and I'll have multiple solutions on the same board. Pseudocodes. I say selection pseudocode. That's selection pseudocode. And here is the problem statement that we had. So we'll keep this problem statement for our reference. Here we go. So that's the problem statement that we have. This font size is good enough for us to read. It says calculate the gross and net bill. So it says, like last time, gross bill amount is quantity purchased into product rate. Net bill amount is gross bill amount minus discount. Discount is 5% of gross bill amount, but discount is paid only if the quantity purchased is more than 100 units. So there's a condition. We're going to give discount of 5% only when the quantity purchase is more than 100 units. 100 units के नीचे अगर quantity purchase है तो discount नहीं देंगे हम लोग. So let's write a pseudocode for the same. Let's start. Like always, we'll say start, and we start. I'll just change its color so that we know it's not the problem statement, but the solution. Okay, I just take this blue color probably.
Sir, are we writing flowchart or
No,
pseudocode?
we draw flowchart, we write pseudocode, correct? So I'm starting with
Yes,
pseudocode.
yes.
I'm
Okay.
starting with pseudocode. I say start. So even in this, we'll say we will begin with start. Huh? We'll do start. And then we want to declare some variable. So I say declare. And all the variables that we want to declare, I'm going to declare, but I'm going to indent them from the margin slightly. First variable I want is the gross bill amount. So I say numeric gross bill amount. So I've created first variable called as numeric gross bill amount. Second variable that I want is suppose net bill amount. The third variable that I want is, I can say numeric, I can say integer, I can say real, like what we did last time. That's totally our choice. When I say numeric, I'll accept integer as well as real numbers. The third thing that I create is discount. The fourth variable that I defined, constant discount rate. And how much is the discount rate? The discount rate is 0.05. And that's the discount rate. I think this is good enough for us. All the variables have been taken care, yes or no? Viraj?
So quantity or product purchase में आएगा. Product rate.
Very correct. Inputs ही नहीं है. Okay, so we now take numeric quantity test. Rate. So we have defined some variables. So we have declared all the variables.
Total
Variables are ready.
discount.
Pardon?
Total discount.
That's discount, correct?
Okay.
Okay, now we have to give the message to user. So I'll say display, I could say print. We'll use a consistent thing. We'll say display and accept. You could say print or input, output also you could say. I'll rather use the word display. Make sure that is consistent. Huh? So I say display. What is the message that I'd like to display? Output, put in double quotes. Please enter the quantity purchased. I say accept. Just then we'll ask the user to enter the next value. Display. I say please enter the rate of the product in rupees. Accept product rate. So accepted the rate. So we have the quantity purchase, we have the rate. Now what are we supposed to do? Won't tell me. We had solved this example last. क्या calculate करना चाहिए? Come on. The first thing that you have to calculate would be
Gross bill amount.
louder.
Gross bill amount.
Gross. Very correct. तो आपको यहाँ लिखना चाहिए calculate. Great. Then I'll say because यहाँ कोई symbol नहीं है to represent here that you are doing calculation. So I'll say gross bill amount is your quantity purchased into product rate. Great. Then I'll say next क्या calculate करेंगे?
Discount.
Very correct.
Net bill.
No,
Net
not
bill.
net win discount. Discount ही calculate करना पड़ेगा, net bill नहीं calculate कर पाएंगे अभी. I'll say discount is gross bill amount into discount rate, that's discount. Then we have to calculate the net bill amount. Net bill amount is bill amount minus discount. And then it's time for us to display the result. I'll say display the gross bill. Note in the messages I'm writing the incomplete thing. The gross bill amount is rupees. Okay, is rupees. And your variable name. Variable name was gross bill AMD. Then we are going to display the next one. The net bill amount. Display the net bill amount is rupees. Net bill empty.
Sir, gross spelling.
You cannot make spelling mistakes. And then we stop. So that's our pseudocode for it. So we declare all the variables that are required. We initialize the constant variable. We say enter the quantity purchased. We accept the quantity purchased. We display enter the rate of the product in rupees. We accept the product rate. We calculate the gross bill amount, the discount, and the net bill amount. You couldn't have calculated net bill amount before calculating discount. Because for knowing the net bill amount, you have to subtract discount from the gross bill amount. So obviously, discount calculation has to be done first. Note here, I could have used the number 50% B or 5% B directly, but that would be difficult. Then a gross bill amount you're multiplying with what? You'll never know. So give any value which has a meaning. You should give that meaning. You should use that meaning as a name to that variable. Use that variable name, named constant, rather than using just values. So if had I written over here 0.05, this could also give the same answer. But we say these are magic numbers. Don't have such magic numbers in the program. Use meaningful names. Give those meaningful names to those numbers. If the number has a meaning, if the value has a meaning, give a name to that value. Use those names in the program, not the values. Because values are always confusing. What is the purpose of the value? We may not understand. So 0.5 could have been the tax rate also. Who knows what it is? So we say gross bill amount into discount rate, that gives us discount. Then net bill amount is gross bill amount minus discount. And then we display gross bill amount and we display next bill amount. I had said last stop likha tha maine. Stay stop. Every program should start and should also stop. So that's how you design or write a pseudocode. Have you all understood this pseudocode?
Sir, can this be tested?
Where is this
Where-
condition?
This was incomplete. This was based on the last example. Here, in this particular case, and that is what I was waiting for. In this particular case, it is very clearly telling you that you are supposed to give this discount only if the condition has been met. So, ऐसा नहीं था. The discount was to be given only when the certain condition is met. And what was the condition that was given? Read the problem statement again. It says discount is paid only if the quantity purchased more than 100 units. यानी you fail to identify this variable define करते समय भी आप ये देखना भूल गए. So this was the solution for the last example that we had drawn, जिसका flowchart हमने draw किया था. But यहाँ this was the condition. Discount is to be paid only if the quantity purchased more than 100 units. So we need to have this variable that will decide whether to give the discount or not to give discount. So we now have one more constant over here. Constant. I'll say minimum QTY for discount. Look at min QTY for discount. It's meaningful, understandable. and minimum quantity for discount is 100. So minimum quantity for discount is 100. If you want to get discount, you have to have minimum quantity of 100. So minimum quantity agar nahi rahega 100, then you will not get the discount. So here, before we have calculated this, we should gross bill amount calculate kya hai, but we cannot go ahead calculating the discount directly. So what we do is we calculate this discount saying if a condition, if the quantity purchased is greater than, question kya kehta hai, is more than 100 units. So more than minimum quantity for discount. Okay, so if the quantity purchase is more than minimum quantity for discount, then I'm going to give this particular, I'm going to calculate this. Otherwise, I will not have calculated this. Here you go. So we can look at this indentation. If quantity purchase greater than minimum quantity for discount, then I'm going to calculate it. So if I say if, this if should also have end if. यहाँ खत्म हो गया. जैसे आपने Linux script में क्या था? If and fi. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
To specify. So here we are saying if quantity purchased is greater than minimum quantity for discount, then calculate the discount. Otherwise, don't calculate the discount. Let's take an example now. We ask user enter the quantity purchase. He says 200 units. We ask the rate. He says 5 rupees. So what will the gross amount be? Rate into 5. Rate into 5. अरे बोलो कुछ तो. क्या बात करें? 200 into 5 is 500.
1,000.
Then we check is quantity purchase, that is 200 greater than minimum quantity for discount. Minimum quantity for discount 100. क्या 200 greater than 100 है क्या?
Yes.
Yes. Then we calculate discount. Gross bill amount is 1,000 rupees into discount rate. तो 1,000 rupees का 5% लेंगे, so that will be 50 rupees. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Then we come with net bill amount क्या है तो 1,000 minus 50, 950, and we display the gross and net bill amount. Correct or not?
Yes.
Solution is wrong. Let's see how. We ask you to enter quantity purchase. He says quantity purchase is 10. कितने? 10, huh?
10.
We ask him to enter the rate. He says 100. So 10 into 100 is 1,000. Then we check is 10 greater than 100. Quantity purchase 10 था हमारा. Is 10 greater than 100?
No.
False है. तो false है तो control will not come over here. It will directly go to this particular statement. Calculate. It will say net bill amount is gross bill amount minus discount. So gross bill amount 1,000 rupees है. What is the discount value? Have we calculated discount this time around? Do we have any value for this discount? Variable discount?
No.
No. So that's uninitialized variable. Remember that flowchart when we saw that concept called as uninitialized. So it may have some garbage value. So any garbage value could get subtracted, and you could have could be discount could be like 1 lakh, and then that means you are supposed to pay. The shopkeeper is supposed to pay the customer because negative answer आ जाएगा in that case. In that case, we have to initialize this particular variable, and I'm going to initialize this variable value as 0. Now, if I initialize this variable value as 0, what would the advantage be? So in a case where suppose if it so happens like what we did, if this condition is false, then control not go here. Control directly jump to the statement. If this condition is false, then the control will not go here. So statements inside the if block, this statement calculate is going to get executed only if this condition is true. If the condition is false, this statement is going to be skipped and control is going to directly jump over here. So in that case, when the condition is false, when you come over here, we are saying net bill amount minus gross bill amount minus discount. So if discount value has not changed, then the default value what we have is 0. So in that case, 0 will get subtracted from gross bill amount. And what is the net bill amount? The same will be the gross bill amount as well. Okay. So this was a single alternative if that we had. Now this was a pseudocode for a single alternative. We could also draw a flowchart for a single alternative. So let's quickly draw a flowchart for a single alternative if. And with that, we'll stop for today. एक pseudocode हो जाएगा and let's take a flowchart. But let's take another example for drawing a flowchart. Have you all understood this, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this. तो जो मैं आपके साथ pseudo code शेयर करूंगा आप उसका flowchart ड्रॉ कीजिएगा जो मैं flowchart शेयर करूंगा आप उसका pseudo code ड्रॉ कीजिएगा flowchart शेयर करूंगा उसके लिए pseudo code ड्रॉ कीजिएगा जिसका pseudo code दूंगा उसके लिए flowchart ड्रॉ कीजिएगा kind of thing. So let's take one more statement, one more problem where we will only have we say a single alternative. Okay, so let's do that. These are tools right now to draw. That is where we can immediately check the solution. But let me show you the problem statement. Problem statement क्या कहता है? Given the basic salary and the grade of an employee. कहता है given the basic salary and the grade of the employee. So you have both the things, the basic salary and the grade. Calculate the bonus paid to the employee. So we have to calculate the bonus that is to be paid. आपके पास possible grades क्या है? A, B, C, D are the only 4 grades that you have. These are only 4 grades, either A or B or C or D. And it says bonus is 10% of basic salary. Bonus is 10% of basic salary and is paid for all employees except for those whose grade is A. And जिसका grade A रहेगा, he should not get the bonus. Rest अगर B है, C है, D है, they should get the bonus. So that's how the simple the solution is. I'll try and keep it as simple as possible right now. Then we'll think about some more detailed aspects about it. But this is the problem statement. Check it out. It says, given basic salary and the grade. So we are supposed to accept 2 inputs from the user. So we are going to accept the basic salary and the grade of an employee. And we are going to calculate the bonus. But bonus kitna hai? It's 10% of basic salary. That's okay. If the basic salary is 1 lakh, 10% of 1 lakh is 10,000 is the bonus. But you're going to give the bonus only for those employees whose grade is not A. So that's the problem statement. So let's go here and solve. So we already saved this. So we'll take a new one and I'll save it. I'll say this is for selection. I'll say this is SEL selection. And this is for selection bonus, I say. So we have variables, we'll have to define all those variables. So we start declaring the variables. First variable. Basic salary. Second variable that we would like to have is grade. That's a string. I'll say it's my grade. That's a character. You could say alphabetic string, what it is. So real basic salary string grade. Now we have accepted 2 variables. We are also supposed to create a few more variables. The bonus. But bonus can be a real number. Then we had the rate of bonus. Bonus rate. And that was real. And we'll assign is 0.10. That's 10%. So it has been created. A bonus rate is 0.10. That has been done. Bonus, grade, and salary, all the 3 variables have been created. Now let's go ahead accepting from the user. So I say output. I prompt the user. I say please enter the basic salary. And that to my unit of measurement is rupees. So I say in rupees. And I do not want to go to the next line. And then I take the input, and my input over here is basic salary. My input over here is basic salary. So please enter the basic salary. We input the basic salary. And once you have taken the basic salary, I again output the message to the grade. And we had to give a choice. It's either A or B or C or D. So we are giving the user a hint. अरे बाबा A, B, C या D इन चारों में से एक ही दो. Don't give me anything different. So we are giving hint to the user. So give one of these 4 grades. So we can just hope that user reads it correctly and does it. Okay. So A, B, C, D आपकी 4 grades हैं. We'll have to accept it. And we accepted the grade. So we accepted the basic salary, we accepted the grade. Now we have to condition. I say a condition. What is my condition? My condition is if grade not equal to A. अगर grade A नहीं है तो, if grade is not equal to A. So if grade is not equal to A, then we are going to do some calculation. क्या करना है मुझे calculation? यहाँ मुझे कुछ calculation करना है, and that is for the bonus. So I have to do some calculations. So I say assign. We have some variable over here. Variable is the bonus. Bonus का calculation क्या है? तो your basic salary into rate. So bonus is basic salary into bonus rate. And अगर false है तो कुछ नहीं करेंगे. We'll directly go out. So if the condition is true, we come here. If it is false, nothing. So I could directly show the arrow here. But true or false. So true है तो we come here. False है तो there is nothing to be done. So there is nothing to be done when the condition false. But there is a single alternative. Only when the condition is true, I'll do this. If the condition is false, I'll just skip and I'll go ahead. Now that we have calculated the bonus, we are supposed to display the bonus. Here we go. Display the bonus. Output. The outputs में the is rupees. I want it on the same line. And I say output your bonus. So look at this. So here again, what will happen is if somebody enters grade as A, so A है तो I'm saying grade not equal to A. Grade A है तो we'll go this low. We come here and we'll display the bonus is bonus, but we have not initialized the variable bonus. इसमें garbage रहेगा, so unexpected values will get displayed. Let's see what happens. We try and run this particular code. We reach this particular statement. It says please enter the basic salary. Somebody's basic salary is suppose 25,000 rupees. 25,000 rupees. Then we ask you to enter the grade. Grade है उसका समझो C. So we check C not equal to A. That is true. If C is not equal to A, control go here, calculates bonus, and then it displays the bonus. So bonus कितना आ गया? 2,500 रुपए आ गया, 10%. And because bonus rate is 0. Means bonus rate is 10%. उस हिसाब से it has calculated the result. And after calculating the result, it has displayed the answer saying bonus is rupees 2,500. Perfect. Let's run the code once again. Look at the variable, basic salary uninitialized, grade uninitialized, bonus uninitialized, bonus rate uninitialized, bonus rate 10 हो गया, 10% हो गया. And then we are asked to enter the basic salary. Again, somebody's basic salary is suppose 50,000. I say enter. Then we have been asked to enter the grade, and that fellow's grade is A. Grade A not equal to A, condition is false. Let's see what happens. So यहाँ से control यहाँ आ गया, and we are supposed to display the bonus. अरे bonus was uninitialized. There is a problem. Look at the value of the variable bonus. It's uninitialized. You had not stored any value. So you're going to face it. You attempted to read the data from the variable before any data was stored into it. Variable bonus was not initialized. So your algorithm is wrong. you did not, you are careless, you did not initialize this variable bonus, because agar grade A hai, so it will follow this course of action and it is going to come over here, it's going to come over here, and when it reaches over here and tries to display bonus, bonus did not have any value. So when you had declared this particular variable over here, bonus, you could also assign that particular variable bonus some value. So you could have said bonus is 0. Even if you had said bonus is 0, that's good enough. Now let's recreate the same scenario once again. We run the code once again. Watch it. This bonus is no more in initialize 0 है देखो यहाँ bonus में value 0 आ चुका है. And then we ask user, please enter the basic salary. User enters basic salary as 50,000 once again. We press enter. Then आपने पूछा था please enter the grade of the employee. तो grade of the employee enter कर रहे हैं हम लोग. Please enter the employee grade A, B, C, D. And user this time round again enters A. I press enter. A not equal to A, condition is false. You come here and display the bonus. Bonus is ₹0 again. It did not fail. So initialization was very important. Had I not initialized this particular variable bonus over here I would not initialize. So when the condition is false, the control would have gone to this statement. And after this, when you try and display bonus, it was not initialized. So it would generate an error. So initialization of variable is very important. एक statement लिख के रखो, which variables are to be initialized, which are not to be initialized. ये कैसे पता चलेगा? So just write one statement. It will make sense to you later, just to decide. One good practice is like you initialize all the variables, but that's at times unnecessary. So there is one golden rule that you can keep in mind. The golden rule goes this way. लिख के रखो, underline करे करो. Write down. The first place where the variable is used in the program. The first place where the variable is used in the program, used, not declared. The first place where the variable has been used in the program. If the first place where the variable has been used in the program, if the first place where the variable has been used in the program is that of assignment, यानी उसमें कोई value अगर आप store कर रहे हो, is that of assignment, then such variables need not be initialized. Such variables need not be initialized. उसी का अलग उल्टा लिखते हैं. In the first place where the variable is being used in the program, in the first place where the variable has been used in the program, seeks for or reads the value of the variable. Seeks for, यानी इसके बाद value read कर रहे हो. Seeks for or reads the value of the variable. Seeks for or reads the value of the variable. Seeks for or reads the value of the variable. Seeks for, SEEK, seeks for or reads the value of the variable. Then such variables needs to be initialized. यानी पहली जगह variable जहाँ use कर रहे हो वहाँ उसकी value अगर आप read कर रहे हो, then such variables needs to be initialized, compulsory. Such variables needs to be initialized. So I'm not going to burden with too many assignments. जिसका pseudo code हमने किया उसका flowchart कीजिएगा, जिसका flowchart किया उसका pseudo code कर लीजिएगा. Let me see how you represent. Use that tool that I have shared with you. Test your code. If you have any doubts, ask me. Any assignment that you had not solved earlier amongst those 10 questions that you have been given, please solve those assignments and be ready for the next session. I'm just sharing those examples that we have taken till date. I'm just sharing those examples once again with you all. Hold on. इस pseudo code भी मुझे share करना है. I will first share this pseudo code with you all. Just give me a second. I'll export to it as PDF and I'll share it with you. I'll also export it as an image file. If the PDF doesn't get open, you could at least have an image file where you can see the pseudocode. But I want you also to write those pseudocodes. Huh? Okay. All the assignments that we have taken and the programs that we have written today, I'll be sharing them with you. And also putting it onto the e-learning portal, so you don't have to worry much. But यहाँ से भी ले लो, अगर आप आज नहीं गए तो आ गया मेरा folder. It says you can only send 10 files at a time. So let me share only 10 files at a time. Post all the PDF files. How many of you received? I don't know. PDF files. Okay. Have you all downloaded the examples? I shared all the files now.
Sir, download.
Download हो गया?
हो रहा है sir.
So keep those files for your reference. And any questions, if you have, please ask. So that's all for today. Any learnings that you had from today's session, Aditya? Quick feedback before we wind up.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, please.
Sir, today's learning was that algorithm is not important. Is not that important. What is important is that कि आपका idea क्या है? मतलब
Idea is
आपका अगर idea
algorithm,
अगर clear होगा तो आप
But idea is
Hello?
algorithm. Idea ही तो algorithm है. Technique ही algorithm है. Code is not very important. Code, once idea is there, anybody can code.
Sir, the logic behind it and the design which we are using
That's
for the
algorithm. Idea, logic, these are just different words for the term algorithm. Algorithm is the idea, algorithm is logic, algorithm is the technique. It's algorithm is
Sir,
all those things. Okay? So algorithm is very
Sir, is the-
important.
Yes, sir.
Okay, code anybody can write if the idea is there. Bhagyashri?
Is algorithm is important than code, and how to write pseudocode.
How to write pseudocode? That's something that we need. Harsh?
Yes, sir. So how to write pseudocode and code is not that important. Algorithm is more important. And sir, how to simplify the formulas?
How to
Like if the formula is very large, we have to first break it into small parts, then use it all together, rather than writing big formulas.
What was the purpose behind it?
Sir, so we can and anyone could easily understand who is modifying it. later.
Understanding, because you write the code
Understanding.
and you move out of
Yes,
the
sir.
company, somebody else is going to look at the code, and if they don't know the formulas, they will get confused. If the formula, there's a big equation that you write, and that
Yes,
you
sir.
express in a way, too many brackets and other things, the people will get lost. They will not be in a position to know whether this equation is correct or not. They'll have to blindly rely on what you have said. Readability of the code is very, very important.
Yes, sir.
So
And sir, the name of the variable should be meaningful and not just random names.
variables
Against
I,
everything,
J,
so
K.
that modify it. Yes, sir.
In all these examples, did you see anywhere I'm using variable X or Y or I or J? Nothing.
No,
Those
sir.
are just not acceptable. Meaningful names is must. Kaustuv?
Sir, how to write pseudocode? That was something.
Yeah.
Yes, that was.
Prithviraj?
How algorithm is more important. than the code, and you can use softwares like you showed. You can just select any language and it will make the code for you.
So code, there are two big tools available in the market to write a code based on it. But there is hardly any tool other than some very specialized AI that will give the logic for you. Logic is more important. Code can be just created by a lot of tools which are there around the market. So logic is something very important. Rahul?
For me, first is the variable declaration part that unit don't use. That I
There is
committed
no,
mistake.
very good. Hold on. Messages that we give should be very clear because user is going to see the messages, not the variables. Variables is for you. Correct. Just make sure it is short, it is meaningful, but there is no need unless there are multiple units that you are going to use in your code. You need not differentiate by writing units. But while you prompt the user the messages, units are must. In the variable names, there was no need for you to put units. Okay. Then unless there are multiple units that you're using, they say degree Celsius में temperature था और Fahrenheit में temperature था, then I'll use the units. But अगर temperature लेना था, तो I'll just give whatever message I want and under temperature ही नाम का variable define कर देता. Yes.
Then breaking the formula for the easy understanding.
If the formula is complex, not unnecessarily don't break the formulas.
And then the how to check algorithm with the execution with that software. And while
Is it not
checking,
great?
yes, and while checking, we can actually check the flow of program.
Yes. That means we can testing whether every branch of the logic has been checked or not. तो अगर आप वो flow देख रहे थे right hand side, left hand side को, तो उससे क्या हो रहा था? हाँ, मैं यहाँ भी जा रहा हूँ, मैं वहाँ भी जा रहा हूँ. तो while we write an algorithm, we need to check whether all branches have been tested by the logic that we write, the sample values that we take. So we took two sample values. एक में जो grade A था और एक में grade A नहीं था. So grade A है तो one line, grade A है तो another course of action that we followed. So it's very important to test the algorithm for all the possible cases. Then anything else?
Then the sir, how can we generate automatic generation होता है कोड का जो हम algorithm लिखते हैं उसका उसके लिए हमें कोड करने की जरूरत नहीं किसी भी लैंग्वेज में हम कोड जनरेट हो सकता है. And then decision structure.
एक मिनट अगर हो सकता है इसका ये मतलब नहीं सर हम लोग लैंग्वेज नहीं पढ़ेंगे अभी. हाँ ये नहीं होना चाहिए सर वैसे भी है तो आई डू एवरीथिंग एवरी टाइम फ्लो चार्ट्स ओनली. नो, we still have to learn the languages because this is a very simple script that was created. Sometimes if you know the language, you can use more advanced features in the language to write better quality code. This is just a solution, but the way the code is generated by the system may not be the best way to write it. If you know the language perfectly, you can improve the quality of code also. Yes. Rahul, और कुछ कह रहे थे आप?
So decision structure.
Single alternative if is what we are seeing.
Yes.
Rohit?
First of all, you got to know the support tool about logarithm.
Correct.
That really help the to eradicate the fear of languages.
Correct.
Like the syntax, because the more than the logical.
This is what you said is very important. The word you use, syntax. So you're not bothered about the syntax now, correct? Language syntax.
Yes. Yes.
Very good. That's very important.
Now next time,
and this is coming from a person who has learned languages, so he understands how many places we are at times stuck with the syntax. And here you don't have that overhead of syntax now. You can focus only on your logic. That was very important, Rohit. Very good.
Yes, sir. So yes, that was the main. And next time, if I got any problem, I would just take the pen and paper and I will just work on my logic rather than being worrying about the syntax. And of course, I have the tool. And the initialization you told us that was also the one of the good things. It will be great for optimization. That where to initialize the variable and.
Viraj?
Sir, for me, it was pseudocode, how to write it, and logarithm tool, how powerful it is, and its various features. For example, that language feature, and also the loop where you can turn the statement in false or true in two ways.
No, it was
And-
not loop, it was decision making, this selection construct, not loop.
Okay, sir.
Solution.
That, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Uh, Sir, and one more thing was first that you should be able to make you should be able to make the logic instead of coding. So logic is more important than coding.
Just passing remark, what we just now discussed, that reminded me of something when Rohit said next time if I get something, I'll take a piece of paper and I'll just start solving it solving it on a paper rather than writing a program. I just show you one of my students clicked a picture of my another student. Okay, and see what he was doing when they were on a picnic. Huh? How, what do you say? If you take drugs, you become addicted to drugs, correct? So coding is more addictive than taking drugs. So let's see what he was doing. He was with his wife, first picnic after he gets married, goes onto a beach, and look what he's doing. His wife clicked a photo and sent it to me, sir. ये देखो आपका student क्या कर रहा है? We are on a picnic and he's solving one algorithm that is there. The problem that he was facing in the company, he was more engrossed in solving that particular algorithm on his notebook. There was no PC. His wife did not let him take the PC with him, but then he did carry a notebook and he spent almost the entire trip solving that particular algorithm. And believe me, he could solve that algorithm on the beach. And next day when he came to the office, he could implement that particular algorithm. So it's that particular thing that happens. You get to it. I did not appreciate that though. When you're with your family, you should spend time with your family, correct? And especially when you're newly married, you should spend more time with your family. But then I told you it's that addictive. Okay. And he will tell you that I'll invite him someday. He's one of my like brilliant students that I had. How algorithms helps. He was only having 2 years of experience in his company. And there was a task, there was a process in his company. And it's not some simple task. This company is a global leader in taking backups of the devices. Veritas, global leader. Their biggest product that they have designed, and for several decades now it's very popular in the market, is the one which takes backup of your machine, of your systems and everything, backup, a copy. But then you may say, sir, how simple is to take a copy? I'll just take a copy and I'll do the copy. I don't know, it's a real-time copy. That means at any moment, if the machine fails, I still should have the correct instance. So from where I can reconstruct the entire system and so on. So it's that kind of product, very specialized product, written entirely in C++. And if you make one change, there are at least 1,000 tests you have to do, that kind of product. And they should take backup. And these backups are not smaller. These backups, like smallest backup could be few TB. Smallest backup will be few TB in size. No 1 MB size and 2 MB size. TB is my backup. And that has to be taken as fast as possible. There was one process that was taking some backup of the server, and it used to take than 45 minutes to take a backup. It used to take more than 45 minutes to take a backup. And then the company wanted to charge the client something more by improving the quality of this particular thing. And he was on that team who was given the task to improve this algorithm even further, so that 45 minutes can be brought down. So 45-minute backup time, if we can bring it to 30 minutes, company would still be happy with that. And then they could go back to the client saying, so Aditya, mera client hai, sir, we have an improved version of our system, which will take this backup in say 15% lesser time. Okay, yeah, 15% faster it could take the backup. Clients are ready to pay for that because they want the backups as fast as possible and so on, because the backups are very important. This fellow, from 45 minutes, brought it into few minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, he brought that particular time required for that backup. Just because the algorithm that he thought about was so very efficient that unnecessary stuffs were reduced, and that entire operation could be completed in few minutes. Think out 45 and think out 3 to 5 minutes that he brought down. Moment he showed that algorithm to his boss, they were amazed. Like 20 years they have been working on that product, and the guy with not even 2 years of experience comes with an idea that brings down the code to such an extent, the company must have made millions of dollars out of it by reaching to the client saying that improved version of our application, our product. Okay, he was given 100% rise the very same day, 100% rise the very same day, and felicitated by the vice president of the company. So vice president came over to see like how could it happen. They felt there is something wrong, so they asked him to build a model for it. We don't think this will work. How can it be? Best of the people with more than 20-25 years of experience, they couldn't think about it. How could you do it? Build a model. So he built a model that worked. But he had presented only an idea. His boss was so happy with that idea. He said, the boss felt it will work. But the VP felt, ऐसा नहीं होगा. इतने brilliant लोगों ने सोचा अब तक, how can this happen? Boss has already said कि this is going to work. Because he saw the idea, he understood. This was something very different. And he could bring down the time required from 45 minutes to less than 5 minutes. And that was all power of algorithm. And he did not even implement it. He showed that algorithm to his boss. And boss immediately understood this is the best thing that they have ever done. 100% rise he committed even before the vice president came in. Vice president asked their team to create a model. They created a model on that. It was done. Felicitated by the vice president of Veritas coming over just to felicitate one person. That kind of appreciation. And now he's known across in the entire company. This happens when you think, not just code. Okay. So there is a power in logic and you can do wonderful things. Not necessarily that somebody has designed applications, experts have designed. That doesn't mean you cannot improve on that. You can still bring about a lot of improvement in the algorithm. So start thinking. And I told you, think like a consultant. Always believe in yourself. Whenever any problem is given, don't be scared to approach the problem. Look at that problem saying, I can do it. I'm the master. I'm the consultant. I'm going to come up with a fantastic solution to address to this problem that my customer is facing. If you go with that attitude, your thought process changes. So have faith in yourself before you start attempting the problem, before you start tackling the problem. So don't fear, mujhse hoga ke nahi hoga. Don't go ahead with that. Go ahead with an attitude saying, okay, I'm the expert and I'm going to provide solution for it. So with that attitude, you can create wonders. Okay, but efforts are equally important. So on that note, I'll stop here today. I'll definitely invite Ajinkya someday to have a talk with you all. He will tell you the importance of algorithms and other things. And especially these are very simple algorithms. As we go ahead, Rohit is attending data structure courses. There is all algorithms, nothing else. So we are discussing various algorithms, ideas, and then we are implementing those ideas. So it's all about ideas. Programming is all about it. It's fun. You will enjoy it as you go ahead, but you will enjoy it only when you get over that fear of code and other things. Play around with these ideas and you will be fascinated with this world of programming. You will spend years of times working in programming. That's how interesting it is. So with that note, we'll stop here today. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll go to dual alternative, solve the assignment that I have given to you, the examples that we have given, convert them into flowcharts and pseudocodes and other things. Practice it and be ready for tomorrow's session. Thank you all. Those who have exams may not practice, but those who don't have exams definitely come with the solutions for it. Thank you all for the session today. See you tomorrow. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.